Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Jalen. We are doing the Louisiana Ragin Cajun men's basketball team and Louisiana Ragin Cajun women's basketball team as they continue on their road here in the 2024-2025 season here, as Louisiana Ragin Cajun men's basketball will take on Old Dominion on Thursday and follow it up against Saturday at home against ULM. They got two consecutive home games. The men's basketball team has. As far as the women, they're on the road at South Alabama on Thursday, and they'll be at home in the Cajun Dome against Southern Miss on Saturday at home. So we'll see how both those games shake out and see how it goes here. Without further ado, let me introduce everybody to my co-host here, Jalen. How you doing today, Jalen?
Hey, I'm doing well, Chief. Doing well. Ready to talk some basketball.
Yeah. So as we progress further into the season here, a little bit of news to get into. Draylon Washington committed to Alabama, the running back there. So we'll see how that pays out for them and the rest of these transfer portal people uh, as we go into, the 2025 season and see how that goes for them there. So, Jalen, looking ahead at the schedule here, the Raging Cajun, the men, they have, you know, they're 2-1 in Sun Belt play so far. They couldn't get it done against Georgia State. How you feel about this matchup against Old Dominion going forward?
So I mean, when you look at it too, Chief, Old Dominion isn't that far right there. For the Cajuns, they also are 2-1. The only undefeated team so far in Sun Belt play are South Alabama and Troy. Then you got the Cajuns in the pack 2-1. They're right there with Old Dominion at 2-1. The thing about it is with this Old Dominion team, before I even get to the matchup, Old Dominion was 1-2 away from home, where the Cajuns are 3-6. It's not like too much better, but they do play better at home so far than they are on the road. So that kind of gives the Cajuns an advantage there. But comes to Old Dominion, I think it's a great matchup for the Cajuns. I think it's a matchup they should win. Old Dominion's leading scorer, Robert Davis Jr., is a sophomore on the team, young guy. So I think the Cajuns are the more experienced team. Wish they're more experienced. I feel like a lot of teams in the Sun Belt, but I think they'll get this win against Old Dominion.
Well, like I said, I thought they would split. You thought they were going to win both of them this past week here. So,
Yeah.
looking at Old Dominion here, RPI at 321 so far. Now, their net rankings 345 right now. So, looking at that right now, Old Dominion ULM. If you look at Old Dominion and Georgia State and Coastal Carolina, and those two games, they kind of split here. They got the win against a 335 RPI, net ranking of 282, lost at 299 RPI 285, which kind of grabs like non-division one. That's why I like the RPI a little bit better than the net ranking because it gets everybody involved and it's a big formula that kind of just, like a big gumbo. You're just adding stuff in there and stuff. So with a net ranking, it only takes into Division One here. So that weren't on the show. It's only Division One teams here. So looking at the Cajuns quadrant record for net ranking, which only take into account Division One teams, uh, they're 3-3 in quadrant four games. RPI, they're 3-5 in quadrant four games. So they're about 500, and that's where both these teams line up at ULM and Old Dominion. So they probably will split these again. Like I said, this team needs talent. They they have talent here. It's just I think they're missed. Knigge, being out. Uh, That hurts them down low. But they're good in certain spots, the Cajuns, especially out there in the 3-point land and stuff. I mean, you're looking at how they shot here. They were way down in the first half, and Georgia State just kind of blew them away, like 24 points there. 3-point shooting wasn't in the Cajuns' best factor against Georgia State, but whenever you look at Coastal Carolina, they shot a little bit better from 3-point land. And App State, the 3-point ball is really what determines if the Cajuns are going to win or lose games here. Typically, you'll see teams shoot about 30% from 3-point land if they're really good. That hadn't happened, and that has not happened for the Cajuns in the last two games, but they were able to win down low in that game there. Cajun only shot 35% from the floor, 35.7%, so 36% from the floor. Game before that, they shot 46%, which you want to be above that 40% range whenever you're playing here because Cajuns won against App State because they won 42% from the floor. So, and McNeese, they shot 40%. Three ball was at 33%. So they got to get better at shooting the three ball again because they were earlier in the season shooting the ball from beyond the arc a lot better. And they've gotten away from that here, not shooting it as good from beyond the arc here. They were shooting it pretty consistently, like earlier in the season, like 33, 30. You see, they were good. Now, the last two games, they haven't really done that. So I think the three ball is the live or die for the Cajuns going up and against this game against Old Dominion. And that's something we're going to look at here when we get down to it here. I'm looking at Sun Belt standings here. Uh, like you said, Jalen, South Alabama, and Troy are leading the conference right now. There's three teams in double-digit wins in the Sun Belt so far. It's South Alabama, Troy, and Arkansas State, who the Cajuns are going to play right after ULM. So, what can the like? Is it the three-point ball you think the Cajuns need to improve, or you think it's just defense in general? Because it looks like some of these teams here that the Cajuns are playing are really getting like really upper echelon scores against them at some points. I mean, Georgia State's kind of an outlier among these scores here, but what do you think, Jalen?
Yeah, I think that's a great question there, Chief. I think during this stretch so far, especially the win they had against App State, and then also you look at the win, a comeback win at that against Coastal. I really think it's about the Cajuns shooting. I think if they go into a shooting slump, it's hard for them to come back on the defensive end, like any typical team. You come back on the defensive end and try to play and try to outscore the other team. But like you said, I mean, when it's hard to, because in the last game against Georgia State, they shot 20% from the 3-point line, 35% overall. When you go look at Georgia State field goal percentage through the whole game, 52.5%. I mean, I know teams get hot, but you got to play defense to try to stop these kids from making shots. So I think them being better on the offensive side of the ball, making shots, will set them up on the defensive end to stop the other team. So I think the shooting just have to improve and get better for the Cajuns, but they can get better. It's just they got their one loss against Georgia State, and they just got to shake back these next two games that they have at home. First, starting with Old Dominion.
I think the Cajuns did do a better job of getting to the free throw line because the last like three games, the opponent has gotten to the free throw line more than they have. So against App State shot 29 free throws, Cajuns only shot 17. You look at McNeese, Cajuns only shot six. McNeese shot 17 times. Coastal Carolina, it was only a one free throw difference, but in a close game like that, makes a big difference. Cajuns shot the ball 20 times, Coastal 21 times. Georgia State shot shot the ball 27 times, Cajun only shot 17. But if the Cajuns make, you know, if they get to the line 27 times, right? And they tied him up, that's 10 potential points right there, which make this a 14-point game. And if you shoot your three-point ball a little bit better, getting around a 30% there, hey, that closes this gap up. The Cajuns are not as far off as I think a lot of people think they are. I think a lot of people left them for dead, but like we were talking about during the November and December stretches here. We're going to see how they get in January here, but if they could turn like Georgia State was shooting the ball at a very high rate for a basketball team. 52% from the floor is very high for a basketball team. They're just shooting the ball good that night. And the Cajuns Cajuns shot the ball more than they did. They shot 70 times. Georgia State shot 61 times. So are they taking good shots? Or are they getting open looks? I think Cajuns sometimes they'll pass the ball around the arc or get down low and they're taking some unnecessary shots and they're rushing shots. I think the Cajuns need to get like the ball in rhythm and maybe dumping inside every once in a while, kind of in and out, kind of back and forth, trying to create defensive mismatches. Offensive mismatches against Georgia State here and to see what they're going to do here. So I'm thinking that the Cajuns, if you look at it here and how Old Dominion is, we're going to see how all it plays out here. But I mean, Old Dominion's only got 4 wins against Division One opponents here. If you're looking at the Cajuns against Division One opponents so far, they're 3-11. So um, Old Dominion's 4-9, ULM's 2-12. So looking at, I'm gonna go look back at Old Dominion and ULM's records here real quick here and to see how they shot the last couple of games to see how they did. So Old Dominion did beat ULM. They lost against Arkansas State and they beat Southern Miss. So like we said before, many times before, they they're something about basketball sucks in general. Not there's not really a strong basketball conference, which, that's part of the reason why you get these kind of like records like this entering into there. Southern Miss shot 45% there. Southern Miss could have very well won this game here. They outshot them from 3-point land. They made 50% of their free throws, and they lost. Old Dominion only shot 11% from beyond the arc. Against Arkansas State, they shot 16.7%. Against ULM, they shot 33% at 3-point line from there too. So Old Dominion, 39.4% from the floor. Old Dominion 26.6. Old Dominion, they shot 46 against Southern Miss. So if you're able to shoot this three ball very effectively, I think you get Old Dominion in trouble here. If you make 30 or 40, 30, 35% of your them 3-point shots for the Cajuns, I'm thinking the Cajuns win this game here. I think if they can make it 30, 35% of the 3-point line and get it to the free throw line, drive into the hoop, getting some hard contact fouls against Old Dominion, get their leading scorer in trouble, I think we could have a very good game for them, and maybe we'll probably end up going in the Cajuns' favor. What do you think about that, Jalen?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to point out. You make some shots, and like you said, just play inside, play their ball, get to the free throw line, make free throw. I mean, it's one thing getting to the line; you got to make the shots too. But can't just come out there and start making buckets, set up their defense like we've been talking. I think they're going to win this game against Old Dominion back at home after coming from a two game road trip and a hard fought comeback win against Coastal. I mean, hey, 2-1 in the Sun Belt. They get back next two Sun Belt opponents at home. This potentially I think is going to be a 2-0 trip right here for the Cajuns and everybody right here at home.
So in Division One, I know like it's hard because there's so many basketball teams. Like it's insane. So Cajuns are 203rd in Sun Belt points per and like in rankings statistical. Division One they're 337. Opponent points 303, 225. Old Dominion, looking at these here, Old Dominions, they're all kind of around the same range. You're not gonna have these big like gaps in this too much like Old Dominion. They're 176 in Sun Belt play, shooting with points. Like they're if I win all the conferences, 225 in opponent shooting. So looking at this here, I think the Cajuns could win this game. But I think they're going to split these games because I want to see consistency from the Cajuns. That's the one thing I want to see from this ball club right now is consistency and being able to, make these games and, be able to finish off these teams here, not have to come back and get win. I want consistent play from this team here. So, uh, looking at looking at this game here. Give me a loss to Old Dominion. Now, I know it's like I'm gonna split it up until I see the consistency here. Now, with ULM, they haven't won a Sun Belt game, so I'll give the Cajuns the win against ULM because I think they'll split this here like they did this week here. I think this basketball team right now, I view them being a 500 Sun Belt win team so far for the year from what I'm seeing and what I'm picking up on here. Not a bad thing here, but I just think that's the way it is because, like, uh, the Cajuns in the Sun Belt for ULM, they're 207, they're 290th, so they don't play really good defense. That's just the way it is. So I think they'll split it here, and they'll be 3-2 in Sun Belt play whenever they go take on Arkansas State here. But I think winning these next two games are pivotal for the Cajuns. I think for the rest of their season because even though it's early and they're gonna have their chance at Troy. But you don't want to have to try to regain this gap later on in the year. You have Arkansas State, and if you can get a 3-game winning streak going, Old Dominion, ULM, and Arkansas State, then you set up pretty well because you have ULM, Texas State, Southern Miss, and Texas State. Then you go South Alabama here. So you got to take care of business in January before you can even start getting there into February and March because February is where the real fun's gonna begin because the tougher part of the Sun Belt Conference is in February. So it's gonna be up to them to take care of business in January here. Because if they can get through this here and ride and get a 4 game winning streak here, because I think if they beat ULM once, I think they'll beat them on the road. I think they can sweep ULM this year with the way I'm looking at it right now. But from what I'm seeing, like the dream for the Cajuns is 4 straight wins here. And in Texas State, you might better drop that one because I don't think Troy and all this is going to go berserk and just keep winning all these games here, like Troy and South Alabama and all them. I think they're going to drop some games. I think Arkansas State will drop a couple of games here, but we'll see what happens with that there. So switching gears now to Louisiana Ragin Cajun women's basketball here. They're having a little bit better success than the men are here. They're right where they need to be. Got to win against Georgia State. They lost to James Madison, who's the top tier Sun Belt team here, but that's okay. You got to try to make the tournament, right? They beat Georgia Southern, so they played a tougher non-conference schedule than the men did. They're 5-6 against Division I teams. So we'll see how all that goes here. How you feel about this matchup against at South Alabama, Jalen and Southern Miss?
Yeah, I feel great. Honestly, Chief, I feel great about both matchups. One being South Alabama, that game is on the road for the Cajuns, and they turn around and come right back 2 days later at home against Southern Miss. And I know I'm kind of kind of copycat, but I think they're going to go 2-0 too in those games. The women's team is playing great. I mean, I don't know if people are watching the games or notice, but the team is playing pretty good to start the year than they have in the past couple of years. I mean, like you said, Chief, picking up 2 key wins. Now the win against James Madison. James Madison is one of the top teams in the Sun Belt. The Cajuns only lost by 5 points too, so it was close. But picking up the wins against Georgia State, picking up a win against Georgia Southern, get that momentum going forward. And because in that matchup with South Alabama, you look at the standings too. South Alabama is kind of right there, not even out of the counter. They're right there last in the pack. They haven't won a Sun Belt game yet. They're looking for their first win, and it's not going to be against the Cajuns. And Southern Miss is kind of right there below the Cajuns, but I think the Cajuns will be able to get that win at home against them. Also, they're playing great. And man, oh my God, I'm losing the track of her name, but she's been playing great the last couple of games for the Cajuns. Before you start, I think Erica Lafayette has been playing great
Yeah.
basketball for the Cajuns. Great basketball for the Cajuns. She's putting up points. She's playing defense. I mean, hey, she's a star player right now.
Yeah, and they've had a good bit of players come back as well. Lene Wheaton uh, is, Tamaya Robinson. I'm trying to remember.
No, and they're both, and you know what? And Robinson's playing heavy minutes too. She's playing like one of some of the seniors on the team. Also, she's playing a lot of heavy minutes and putting up buckets too. So the Cajuns have some like not even some, a lot of experience, a lot of seniors on this ball club too. And like you said, a lot of that came back from last year's squad. This team is making some noise this year, and I can't wait to see how they continue to play.
Yeah, so we're gonna see what happens with the Cajuns here. So looking ahead to their schedule here, if you're looking ahead here, like I said, they played a tougher non-conference here, but at South Alabama versus Southern Miss, and you got at Arkansas and at Troy here. So that's their next 4 games here. And I think they're kind of in the same situation. Troy's 2-1 in the Sun Belt right now. App State's 3-0, but they're 7-6 here. But if you're looking at who App State has actually beaten in Sun Belt play so far, it's Southern Miss, at South Alabama, and Arkansas State. You know, and they're not like running the Sun Belt right now. I mean, their best win was against Arkansas State technically here in the conference. So I don't know if that's really a good indication of how well the Sun Belt's going to be this year with in the women's basketball realm of things here. But they're like January 30th whenever you're looking at the Cajuns playing them here. So they have Arkansas State. So you got Troy as well up there. So Troy's being 6-7 against Division I teams. They're 2-1. So you're not gonna have the Cajuns play anybody really tough until you get to like Coastal. That's another one that's kind of got the net ranking of 96. When you look at the sub 100s in the Sun Belt, you know it's going to be a tough one for you. So, uh, because Coastal's 2-1, they're 11-2 right now. I'm expecting them to win a couple of more conference games here when we get down to it here. So, yeah, but the Cajuns have it relatively pretty easy schedule-wise if you look at it for the women's. James Madison could very well I think they're gonna drop some games to Cajuns. I just don't know if James Madison they only lost by 5, but this is a really heavy senior team. I think this women's basketball team could really make a deep run in the Sun Belt Conference tournament this year. I got them winning at South Alabama, and I think they'll end up beating Southern Miss at home too. I think they're looking really good right now because quadrant four, if you look at net rankings, they're 5-2, RPI, same record over there too. So and if you're looking at these, both these teams are in that quadrant four realm here. So I think 7-2 could be very well. And then you got Arkansas State, who's a little bit further down the RPI at 322 and at net ranking of 223. But the now just where the bad news comes in, the Cajuns are going to have to win the tournament to make the tournament, make the NCAA tournament, Sun Belt tournament to win, make the NCAA tournament. Because
So
but
many tournaments.
yeah, I was like tournament to beat the tournament, tournament, tournament. Yeah, got kind of thing. But um, with that there. It's just a lot going on for the Cajuns. Uh, and you're going to have to face that James Madison team probably in that tournament here if they, make their way through there here. So, and a regular season championship won't get you there. I just think just qualify for the Sun Belt tournament and just go on a big run. I think if you can get there and you win a tournament, you'll do very well and you'll be in very good shape. And I think that really tough non-conference schedule they played actually really helped them out when it came down to conference play, I believe. So yeah, give me 2 wins. I think I'm really feeling good about this Raging Cajun basketball team, women's basketball team so far this year. So what you thinking, Jalen? They win both these games here?
Yeah, I think they'll get the win against South Alabama and Southern Miss. Now, I think that Southern Miss will be closer. I think Southern Miss is a better team than South Alabama, but overall, I think the Cajuns will get pick up both of those wins.
So we're gonna look at rankings here for the women's basketball team here real quick here. Let's just see here. This one on the road's kind of a tough one for them here. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to pull up the stat rankings here. It's giving me a little bit of a hard time, folks. I guess they don't have it here. Usually it pops up right there on that side. Well, they don't have it. So I guess they really don't care about it then. Let me go on ESPN so you can kind of look and see. Actually, I can go NCAA technically. We can do NCAA. So yeah, like these rankings ain't gonna be high. It's the Sun Belt. Sun Belt basketball, men and women is not. They're not known for that kind of stuff. They're more known for baseball is definitely their forte for sure. If you want to get into it that way, um, it's definitely their big thing they want to do here. But look, that's just the way I'm thinking it's gonna happen here. Um, yeah, it's just gonna be. Let's see. Let's look at these rankings here. They're gonna have all the rankings. They're gonna have like points scored and all that other stuff. This is Associated Press, but I want stats. Let's see. Let's see what it gives me here. Team select the team statistic. Let's look at I think one you could look at here, it's field goal percentage. I think that is a very good thing to see because this will tell you if your team's really doing a good job or not here. See the top two teams, Kansas State and UConn, are shooting over 50%. So if you're looking at all that here, I wonder where the Cajuns are at on this list here. So look, that's the top 50. I don't think it is. Yeah, they have it at the top. I wish they had the bottom so that way you can kind of look through all these and see. So the Cajuns are currently shooting. Uh, they're not on this list. They're not on that second page. That ain't good. So they're not in the top 100. So I would imagine they'd be in the top I think 200 probably for sure. Southeastern's 108. That's surprising. Southern Miss is right here, unless I just missed them or whatever. But y'all, I mean, y'all get the picture here. Louisiana Tech right there at 143. I don't see the Cajuns yet. But some of these teams like have played less games. Some pe teams have played more games. I just don't see the Cajuns yet. So James Madison 198. But yeah, James Madison leading the conference. So that means that,
See,
so the Miss isn't playing too good of defense then. Yeah, and now we're getting in the 200 range just to kind of see where everybody's at here. I like looking at lists like this, like ULM's 249. I don't see the Cajuns anywhere. I think I passed them up though. I don't see them. Okay, they're 283. All right. Oh, the Cajuns played 12 games. Some of these people have played 15, and they're only shooting 37.88% for the year. So yeah, but the Cajuns have played pretty good defense if you're looking at that. Now, that's the next one we're going to talk about because for them to do very good there, they got to do good. For them to be that far down, they got to be good somewhere else because, 2-1 in conference play will help that a lot here. Plus, you got to take in the fact of strength of schedule and stuff there too. So that is something else that we can all agree on that is a tough situation. So to deal with here. So, but yeah, I don't think we're gonna really find too much here. This is way too early to kind of look at this stuff here. But I mean, it does give you a good indication of how your team's performing here when you look at these two statistical elements here in this for the UO Ragin Cajun women's basketball, the Louisiana Ragin Cajun women's basketball team. So, Jalen, any other stat you want to look at here?
uh, that's a good. Oh, let's look at shooting percentage.
Shooting percentage? All right. I'm trying to find it's just really hard to find everybody on this list here. I wish it gave me like a indication of like I could search up a team and this is what their ranks are. Kind of like CBS Sports gives you all the rankings and stuff, but the NCAA website has it all on a list. And you can't just look up a team. It won't give you the teams. It'll just be like, okay, here's the final four. Here's everybody on the list. You go for it here. And but
Oh,
that's kind of
okay.
leading there too. And you're just having to look like because if like Tennessee's way down here at 337 and field goal percentage defense, and they're a top 25 ranked team. Yeah, I missed the Cajuns. I must have passed scroll by them because I went to the last page and they're not on there. Uh, I definitely scrolled by them. Okay, I found them. They're at 184. So yeah, they're obviously a lot better at defense than they are at shooting the ball. But hey, 39.9% makes it tough on them out there in that regard there. So shooting percentage, scoring defense, scoring offense. I'm trying to find shooting percentage. Rebounds, rebound margin. I mean, you could like look up all this other stuff here, but like winning percentage, it's obviously going to be like, okay. So I think turnover margin's a really good one to look at too, as well, because hey, if you got a good turnover margin, you're gonna be in really good shape here. I didn't see shooting percentage, but I guess that's like field goal percentage in that too. I know shooting percentage adds all that stuff together. Like the really good teams don't turn the ball over.
That's
ULM
true
don't really
too.
turn the ball. Yeah, like ULM, they're like tied for 98th, so we'll have them at 99 just because. Just,
Right
just to
below.
get it. Yeah, it's a rivalry game. What you expect? Got to give them less credit.
I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Got to give them less credit somewhere on here. What I'm interested in is seeing how all these teams here. So the Cajuns, okay, don't try to get me to do that. I haven't seen Cajuns that were in the 200s now. But there's a lot of teams tied in percentage, and it's like the margin. The margin's like less than like one, so I don't think it's really like that big of a difference with the teams. But hey, like if you're really putting it on, like if teams are able to set the ball very well, then they're just gonna do that. I haven't seen them yet, so I don't really know. Now these are we're getting into ones, and these are the twos. So uh yeah, I think we got all we can get here. So thank y'all for tuning in here to this episode here at the Fishbowl Radio here. Uh like if you like this episode here, go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and we're always posting updates here on the Fishbowl Sports Radio. Hope you have a great and wonderful day, and we'll see you here next time. Jalen, want to say anything before we get off here?
Hey, I just want to say thank you, Fishbowl Nation, for tuning in with us every single week. We can keep you updated with the latest scores and everything in news when it comes to Cajun athletics. But hey, it's basketball season. Everybody, we're in the peak of it. It's not March Madness yet, so you still got time between now and March to get to these games and watch these two teams battle in action.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great and wonderful day here, and we'll see you out here next time on the Fishbowl Radio. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation.